Think of Gandalf. What do you see? A kindly old man with a long white beard who often brings fireworks to amuse the hobbit children of the Shire. An aged traveler, leaning on a bamboo staff, knocking on doors asking for a warm cup of tea. That is exactly what he wants the entire world of Middle-earth to see. But the truth is, Gandalf knows everything beforehand, but he doesn't say it. Throughout the entire journey to destroy the One Ring, from the snow-capped peaks of Caradhras to the black gates of Morannon, the Grey Wizard carried on his shoulders a massive burden of the darkest secrets. He concealed his true identity. He concealed the ruthless chess moves he was forced to make. And most importantly, he concealed a terrifying truth about his own power in front of his companions. Today, we will peel back that dusty gray cloak to see through into the mind of one of the greatest, most complex entities J.R.R. Tolkien ever created. Let's decode the earth-shattering secrets Gandalf kept hidden. The first secret, and also Gandalf's greatest lie, is his very existence. To Frodo, Aragorn, or Boromir, Gandalf is an erudite wizard, a mortal possessing innate magic. But Gandalf is not human. He doesn't even belong to this physical world. Before the sun and moon were created, he existed. His true name is Olórin. He is a Maia, an angelic entity, superior spirits, molded from the mind of the Creator, Eru Ilúvatar. What does this mean? In terms of spiritual nature and cosmic hierarchy, Gandalf is on par with Lord Sauron, and on par with the Balrog fire demon in the mines of Moria. His primordial power is enough to blow away mountains or incinerate entire armies. But why does he always appear in the form of a frail old man, having to struggle on horseback, endure the cold, hunger, and even sometimes show fear? That is because Gandalf is bearing a voluntary sentence of exile. Thousands of years ago, the gods in Valinor, the West, sent 5 Istari wizards to Middle-earth to help mankind against Sauron. But the gods laid down an iron rule. Gandalf's primordial power was sealed. His angelic soul was locked into the physical body of a mortal old man. He was forbidden from using absolute power to counter Sauron's power. His function was not as a god of war stepping in to destroy the enemy on behalf of mankind, but as a guide, igniting the courage, sacrifice, and wisdom of the free living beings so they could determine their own fate. Gandalf hid this identity from the Fellowship of the Ring. He never said, "Don't worry, I am a powerful angel." He let them see him sweat, bleed, and be exhausted. This concealment was an arrow hitting 2 targets. It kept him from becoming a second tyrant like Sauron, and it forced mortals like Aragorn or Frodo to overcome their own limits themselves. The second secret relates to the greatest sin that Gandalf always carried with remorse: the truth about Bilbo's ring. In the movies and books, it seems Gandalf only shockingly realized Bilbo's ring was the One Ring on the exact night of the old hobbit's 111th birthday. But if we review Tolkien's timeline, the truth is much more chilling. Bilbo found the ring in Gollum's cave in 2941. Bilbo's 111th birthday took place in 3001, meaning Gandalf was beside Bilbo, saw Bilbo wearing that ring, witnessed Bilbo not aging at all for 60 years. 60 years, too long a time for a mind as erudite as Gandalf's. Could a wise angelic being who had spent a lifetime studying dark magic be foolish enough not to notice the anomaly in an invisibility ring that makes its owner immortal? No, Gandalf suspected from the very first days. He knew that ring was an evil object, but he chose to remain silent and observe. Why didn't he act sooner? Why did he leave Bilbo to keep such a dangerous object? This is where we see the coldness and great calculation in the mind of a geopolitical strategist. Gandalf knew that Sauron had not completely restored his power. If he acted rashly, stealing the ring or openly investigating, he would alert the enemy. The eye of Sauron would immediately focus on the fragile Shire. Furthermore, Gandalf realized a miracle. The Hobbit race seemed to possess an extraordinary resistance to the corruption of the One Ring. In Bilbo's hands, the ring did not cause a disaster. Gandalf hid his fear, using those very 60 years as a stalling period. to quietly gather information, prepare strategy, and quietly nurture the next generation. Frodo Baggins. But what was the price of this silence? It was that he allowed the mind of his old friend Bilbo to be eroded day by the ring, to the point where he had to use harsh threats to force Bilbo to let it go on his birthday night. He never admitted to Frodo, "I knew your uncle was holding a ticking time bomb for the past 60 years, but I did nothing." That concealment was not malicious, but the cruel burden of a chess player, someone who has to see the big picture, and sometimes must accept putting the pieces they love most in danger. If you ask what Gandalf's greatest power is, many will immediately think of the blinding light driving away the Nazgul flock, or the staff strike cracking the bridge at Khazad-dûm. But the Grey Wizard's greatest power doesn't come from his magical staff. It comes from a treasure he kept hidden right in front of everyone's eyes, even his closest allies. That is the third secret, possessing Narya, the Elven Ring of Fire. When he first set foot in Middle-earth thousands of years ago at the Grey Havens, Gandalf bore the appearance of a bent old man, seemingly the weakest of the 5 wizards. But Círdan, the great elven shipwright, who possessed the ability to see into the future, recognized the great soul hidden within that mortal form. Círdan gave Gandalf one of the 3 rings of power of the elves, Narya, the Ring of Fire. But what did Gandalf do with this invaluable treasure? He kept it hidden. He didn't tell Frodo. He didn't reveal it to Aragorn. He even hid it from Saruman, the head of the White Council, until Saruman's jealousy uncovered the truth itself. Why was a treasure that could help the war effort hidden so carefully? First, to avoid the eye of Sauron. The open use of a ring of power is like burning a blazing torch in the dark of night. It would attract the Dark Lord's attention immediately. But the second reason is much more important. It is the nature of Narya's power. The Ring of Fire does not grant the wearer the ability to throw fireballs to incinerate enemies like in video games. Its power is subtler and deeper than that. Círdan once told Gandalf, "This ring has the power to rekindle the fire of courage in hearts growing cold with fear." This is the secret that explains all of Gandalf's actions. Remember how he appeared at Rohan, waking King Theoden from his stupor. Remember how he rode past the ranks of Gondorian soldiers trembling on the walls of Minas Tirith, and his presence immediately ignited their fighting spirit. That power didn't just come from words, it was psychological and emotional manipulation, magic radiating from the Ring of Fire. Gandalf is a tyrant of hope. He hid this weapon so it could take effect in the most natural way, making people believe that courage sprang from their own hearts, not forced by magic. However, hope sometimes goes hand in hand with extreme cruelty. And that is when we touch upon the 4th secret, a secret Gandalf took down to the grave. He knew he was sending Frodo on a suicide mission, and he used the entire Fellowship of the Ring as bait. At the Council of Elrond, when Frodo volunteered to take the ring to Mordor, Gandalf closed his eyes. Peter Jackson's camera caught a fleeting moment of pain on the old wizard's face. Why? Because as a master strategist, Gandalf knew better than anyone the bloody statistics. He knew full well that a weak creature walking into the lair of the most powerful entity in the world to destroy the object that entity desired most was logically impossible, militarily. The success rate was not 1%, it was practically 0. But Gandalf did not speak that naked truth. He hid his own despair and fear in front of the remaining 8 companions. If their spiritual leader admitted that "we are certainly going to die," the entire campaign would collapse before it began. Furthermore, Gandalf executed the coldest geopolitical chess move. Throughout the movies, we see Gandalf constantly urging Aragorn to take the throne, calling on Rohan to march, drawing Sauron's entire attention toward Gondor and the Black Gate. He told everyone it was a war of defense. But deep down, the Grey Wizard clearly understood. All the lives of the armies of men, the sacrifice of King Theoden, even the death of Boromir, all were merely a diversion. Gandalf pushed tens of thousands of people to death's door, creating a massive noise on the front lines. just so Sauron's fiery eye would not look down at the ground, where two tiny hobbit creatures were crawling across the ash-filled rocks of Mount Doom. Is it cruel to push innocent creatures and brave warriors into a chess game where they are merely sacrificial pawns? Yes, but that is the price of being the one pulling the strings of the world's fate. Gandalf hid the weakness of a friend to don the cold iron armor of a commander-in-chief. He didn't deceive them for personal gain. He deceived them because it was the only narrow path, slipping through the tightest crack in the door, so this world wouldn't sink into eternal night. And to redeem the price of those cold manipulations, Gandalf prepared for the biggest secret of his life, the pre-calculated sacrifice in the dark realm of Moria. He knew what was awakening in the darkness of Khazad-dûm. He hid that from the Fellowship, so they would keep walking. There is a moment in the movie The Fellowship of the Ring, often overlooked by audiences, but it is the key unlocking the truth about Gandalf's deepest fear. It is when the group stands before the blizzard on Mount Caradhras, and Gandalf closes his eyes tight, yielding the decision of the route to Frodo. Why would an erudite wizard, a great guide, push the life or death responsibility onto a tiny hobbit creature who had never stepped out of his homeland? The fifth secret lies in that very choice. Gandalf knew exactly what was sleeping underground in Moria, and he kept it hidden from everyone. When Gimli excitedly talked about the hospitality of his cousin Balin in the kingdom of Khazad-dûm, Gandalf's eyes were heavy with a tragic sadness. He had passed through Moria many years ago. He knew that stone kingdom had become a dark tomb, but a pack of orcs or goblins is not what an angelic being like Gandalf would fear. What he feared was Durin's bane. Decades of studying ancient parchments had let Gandalf know what that creature was. It was no ordinary monster. It was a Balrog, a demon of the ancient world, a corrupted Maia entity by Morgoth from before the world was shaped. In other words, the Balrog is Gandalf's kin, one possessing primordial power on par with him. Gandalf didn't tell the Fellowship, "Hey guys, down there is a fire demon from the dawn of time that could chew off all our heads." He kept that secret in silence. He knew that if revealed, panic would tear the group's morale apart instantly. The Grey Wizard bore the massive psychological pressure alone, stepping into the darkness with the fragile hope that they could tiptoe past without waking the demon. But destiny always has cruel turns. The fire demon awoke, and on the narrow stone bridge of Khazad-dûm, Gandalf was forced to shed the guise of a mortal old man to face it. Audiences often view the scene of Gandalf striking his staff on the bridge and yelling, "You cannot pass," as a brave act of self-defense. But analyzing from the perspective of the original work, that is Gandalf's only display of divine power in the entire story. He loudly declared, "I am a servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Anor. The dark fire will not avail you, flame of Udun." That was no empty threat. That is the language of the gods. He was telling the Balrog, "I know your evil origin, and I bear within me the power of the Creator to purge it." And then the bridge shattered. Gandalf fell into the abyss. His final words before letting go were, "Fly, you fools." Let's pause at this moment. Was Gandalf's slip truly just a cruel accident? The sixth secret, a profoundly philosophical secret. Gandalf knew he had to be removed from the chessboard, so the others could grow. Gandalf is a wise man. In the moment hanging on the edge of the abyss, he could have begged Legolas to shoot an arrow into the monster's eye, or told Aragorn to pull him up, but no, he let go. His sacrifice at Moria was a forced move. Why? Because Gandalf's presence was too large a shadow. As long as Gandalf was there, Aragorn would remain just a ranger walking behind his back, never stepping up to accept kingdom. As long as Gandalf was there, Frodo would always rely on the wizard's power to make decisions, so the Fellowship could truly fulfill its role. So, men, elves, and dwarves could write history themselves. The guiding angelic being was forced to step back. Gandalf's death was the necessary shock to break the reliance, forcing Aragorn to step into the position of leader, and forcing Frodo to shoulder the ultimate loneliness himself to complete the mission. Gandalf fell into the deepest bottom of the world, battling the Balrog from the darkest underground tunnels up to the soaring peak of Xiraxigil. Ultimately, he destroyed the monster, and his physical body crumbled as well. The Grey Wizard truly died. His soul escaped the limits of space and time, wandering in the universe. But the final secret of this chapter lies in his very resurrection. Audiences saw him return in the form of Gandalf the White, majestic and more powerful. Many thought it was just a reward for bravery or a level-up magic trick. The truth is, the Valar, the gods in the West, were completely helpless and gave up when Gandalf died. It was Eru Ilúvatar, the supreme creator of the universe, who personally intervened. This was the second time in Middle-earth's history, after the sinking of the island of Númenor, he broke the rules to interfere in the physical world. Eru realized that Saruman the White had betrayed. The system of wizards sent down had failed miserably. He took Gandalf's soul, upgraded it, and threw him back to Earth. Gandalf didn't just come back to life. He was granted a divine mandate and the authority of the white color, the position that should have belonged to Saruman. This return was a secret Gandalf always kept in humility. He didn't boast that he was saved by God himself. He hid that absolute authority under a gentle smile, continuing to wear the tattered hat, riding on horseback to go rally mortals for the final battle. The War of the Ring had ended. Sauron was smashed into a cloud of nothingness, ash, and blown away by the wind forever. Aragorn ascended the throne as king, opening the brilliant fourth age of mankind. Everything seemed fulfilled. In the Shire, the hobbits resumed farming, drinking beer, and singing under the shady trees. But behind that peaceful scene, Gandalf still quietly kept one final secret, a secret of a determining nature to the fate of those he loved most. That is the truth about the journey to the Undying Lands and the true end of the Age of Magic. When the group returned, Sam, Merry, and Pippin believed everything would go back to the way it was. But Gandalf, with the wisdom of an angelic being, knew well an immutable law of the spiritual world. Anyone who had ever borne the One Ring, that person's soul had been permanently hollowed out. Furthermore, the stab of the Morgul blade on Weathertop and the venom of the giant spider Shelob left dark remnants that could not be cleansed by mortal medicine. Gandalf saw through the panic and agonizing pain inside Frodo on every anniversary of his injury. He knew Frodo was dying away from the inside. The physical world of Middle-earth no longer had oxygen for a soul that had suffered too much damage from primordial evil. However, Gandalf didn't tell Samwise Gamgee, "Your master is withering away and will die if he stays here." That truth was too cruel for a loyal person like Sam to bear. Instead, the old wizard quietly arranged the greatest cosmic favor, asking the Valar for permission for mortals like Frodo and Bilbo to board the last ship of the elves heading to Valinor, the West, the Undying Lands. Valinor is not a literal paradise where humans can live forever. The law of the gift of death, bestowed by the creator Eru upon men and hobbits, cannot be broken. Taking Frodo to Valinor was essentially taking him to a supreme spiritual sanatorium. There, the purest lights of the divine would soothe his pain, allowing him to live the final years of his life in absolute serenity before drawing his last breath. Gandalf hid the true nature of this journey to leave Sam with a beautiful, albeit melancholic, farewell instead of a tearful death sentence. And at the Misty Havens, we touch upon the eighth secret, the ultimate loneliness of the 1,000-year mission. Among the 5 wizards, Istari, sent by the gods to Middle-earth thousands of years ago, Gandalf was the only one to complete the mission. Try to imagine the psychological burden he had to endure. Saruman the White, the head, the most erudite, betrayed and was tempted by darkness. Radagast the Brown abandoned the mission to hide in nature, befriending beasts. The 2 blue wizards disappeared completely in the mysterious Far East, their survival or fall unknown. Gandalf alone shouldered the mission of saving all of mankind. He never complained, never recounted to Aragorn or Frodo his loneliness when betrayed and abandoned by his own peers. When he stepped onto the white ship, the relieved smile blooming on the wizard's lips was not just the joy of victory. It was the sigh of relief of an angelic soul after 2,000 years wandering in a decaying mortal shell, finally having the chains removed to return home. The mission was complete. Finally, the greatest, deepest secret encompassing Gandalf's entire existence is, he intentionally created a world that no longer needed him. Many movie viewers would wonder, Sauron was dead. Why did the elves have to leave? Why didn't Gandalf stay as supreme advisor to King Elessar, Aragorn, helping mankind build a great empire with magic? Because Gandalf understood J.R.R. Tolkien's deepest philosophy, the fading of magic is inevitable. As long as elves, wizards, and the rings of power existed, humans would always depend on them. They would rely on supernatural power instead of solving the problems of their species themselves. All of Gandalf's earth-shattering chess moves, well-intentioned lies, silence, and strategic sacrifices were directed toward a single goal, paving the way for the Age of Men. When the One Ring was destroyed, the three rings of the elves, including Gandalf's Ring of Fire, Narya, also completely lost their power. That was not an accidental side effect. That was the exact result Gandalf desired most. He stripped magic from the world, stripped away all supernatural crutches to hand the entire continent of Middle-earth back into the hands of mortals. Facing the scene of parting, Gandalf turned to look at the four tearful hobbits and uttered his most classic line, "I will not say, do not weep, for not all tears are an evil." He didn't offer a false promise of reunion. He acknowledged the pain of separation, but also affirmed that it is a part of growing up. Gandalf hid countless secrets, donned the mask of a senile old man who likes to shoot fireworks, only to become the greatest chess player in the history of Middle-earth. He loved his chess pieces so much, he was willing to shoulder all sins, all loneliness and darkness, just so those pieces had the chance to become kings, heroes, confidently striding under the sun of a free world. Thank you for joining us in uncovering the darkest and greatest pages about the mind of the Grey Wizard Gandalf. What do you think about these ruthless, yet great, manipulative chess moves of his? Was there any other way to defeat Sauron without needing those sacrifices? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next profound analyses of this massive fantasy world. Goodbye, and see you in the coming chronicles.